Hi everyone. How are you? Happy Monday. Hi. I know Tampa, my gosh, you sold it out. I know that a lot of armies were actually posting about available tickets only for everything to be sold out on the day off. My dog wants to say hi. He's actually about to go out and um, do his afternoon walk, but he wants to say hi first. Say hi, baby. Say hi. Why don't you there so that they can see you? How's that? There you go. Say hi. Good boy. How is everyone? Hello from Texas. Hello. I'm going to be seeing you guys, not the people from Texas, but New York in a couple of days. So I want to say hi to everybody. Amy, Darren, Shelling, Julie, Mariel Nez, Amy, Kathleen from Kylie with Love, Melanie, Arlene, Shelling, Lakeisha, Ensign, Janie, Warren, Salmar, BTS Paved the Way, Lisa, Nikon Lady, Halina, Angel Star, Dabak. They're saying Dabak. Say hi, baby. Say hello. Sinri, Kemuning, Lisa, Darlene, April, hello, Terry. Okay, I kind of expected that there won't be as many people because I know people are used to me doing like a 7 p.m. live stream, but I'm trying to push it earlier. So I'm actually aiming for 5. That's the aim. And then I'm going to experiment doing 1 in the morning. So let's see what's going to happen. I think fans are trying to act as though the guys are ranked according to the number of brand deals they have is ridiculous. Some may not want to do as a bunch of others may. Hi, share your love, Grammys, interests, BTS paved the way. Hello. Okay. So quickly, yeah, so I'm trying to push this earlier. I am going to experiment doing something earlier. I just need to fix my body clock because right now I sleep like super early in the morning, around like 4. Sometimes I sleep at 4, and so that, and then I wake up at like 10, 11. So I'm gonna try and fix my body clock so that I can hike Orchid, Warren, Teresa, Terry, 8 p.m. here. So, okay, so acceptable, right? So, yeah, I'm gonna try and do something. I just need to fix my body clock, and that all actually boils down to okay, so I'm gonna try and experiment doing something in the morning and see how that's going to do. If it's better for everybody, because then the main problem is that right now my body clock is kind of a little whack because I sleep at 4, 3, sometimes even 5, just doing some work. And so I'm trying to correct that. And so I'm going to work on that this entire week and see if I can wake up at like very early in the morning. So I can do my live earlier as well. That would be better since Newsday, the day in like Asian countries, will also be almost done. If I like do a live stream at 8 a.m. or something like that, or maybe 9, then the Newsday of other Asian countries will be just about done. So I can cover everything that happened during that day. So yeah, I'm just gonna work on my body clock, trying to correct that, and then I'll experiment doing live streams early in the morning, and then on Wednesday I will be in New Jersey. So I'm flying out tomorrow. So it's gonna be red eye. So I'll be in New Jersey for the concert both days. So I won't be able to do a live stream. However, I'm going to be meeting the New Jersey group. So if they say yes to actually appearing in the lives, we'll do like um, uh, a brief live stream. Let's see if they agree. Um, Although Wednesday is definitely out because that's the concert day, right? So where's Bang Luna? Why do I not see Bang Luna? Hi, Hot Sean. One Hot Sean. He told me. Teresa, Celeste, hello. Are you going to see Jin? OMG. Yes. So I'll be there both days, 30 and the 31st. Oh yes. Hi, Bang Luna. So yeah, I'll be there both days. So I don't know. I might do surprise lives because I'm planning to explore a little morning of Wednesday, morning of Wednesday. So I don't know if some of the New Jersey people are gonna go with me, but just a little. I can't do. I heard super hot. Oh, thank you. Oh, baby, Angel Star, say thank you. There you go. Yeah, he gave you money for your ticket. We're gonna go. So I'm planning. Okay, I'll talk about like the plan for his trip because we might do an international trip with him. Okay, so I might do a surprise live, but I definitely won't do like a sit down live on Wednesday because that's when the concert is happening. But I might do like one in the morning, wherever I may be in, because I'm planning to like go someplace in New Jersey, maybe a museum. It has to be indoor because I heard the humidity is like bad, so I can't do outdoors. I was planning to do like go on a garden or maybe even the beach or something. But if it is going to be that hot, I definitely cannot. So I might do a live stream, like a casual live stream for wherever I'm going to be in, and then in the suite we'll be there a little early because we have some food, not a lot. We didn't really order in advance, so we'll do a live stream, just a short one, to show everybody that we are together. And then we're gonna go to Brennan's. I'm so excited for that. This is the restaurant where Jimin and Jungkook actually went for Are You Sure season 1, when they went to Connecticut. So I'll do like a short live stream when we are there. So that's the plan. And then I'll be back here Friday. I might do a live stream when I'm back. And then, yeah. And then next week is when I'll start doing morning live streams. So just in case, um, and see how that's going to work. I might do some in the morning and then one in the afternoon. Let's see, because I know that some of you are actually from the Philippines, from Asia, because that's going to be better for evening, might be better for you. So I might do one in the morning, one in the afternoon or late afternoon. So let's see. And then I'll definitely have, if you're a member of my YouTube member, I do exclusive live streams for them as well, and then exclusive videos, which I will also be discussing later. Okay. Are You Sure restaurant awesome? Yeah, that is a restaurant they were in day 1, I think. So this is where Jimin first experienced his tummy problems. So yeah, we're gonna be there. Um, I don't know how many we are. I'm unfortunately not the one organizing it. Well, fortunate for me. Someone actually took the reins in renting the bus and all of that. But the other problem is that we still haven't gotten an email from Ticketmaster. I believe they were the ones that were supposed to give us an email to tell us what time will the sound check be, because I have VIP for day 2. So I'm going to be there in the sound check with my very, very tall boots. The problem is that I haven't gotten the email. I don't think anyone has gotten an email yet. So we don't know what time we actually have to be in the venue. So I think in LA they were asked to be there at 6. The concert is at 8. So if that is the case, better for us, because then we'll have some time to actually probably go to one more venue, one more place before going back to our hotels to freshen up and then do the sound check. Now I had fun with Kathleen, hot outside with temp and hot inside with Jin. True. True. Those are two. Two very hot things. Okay, my dog is like, okay, so that's what's happening. Sorry, baby, I did not know that it's slipping. Okay, there you go. Are you okay? Are you okay? Okay, I want to get go to Korea again next year, but I need to get my ish together right now so I can see the guys. Ah, one hot Sean. I'm gonna go. Well, the tour that I've mentioned that I wanted to go to Korea this Christmas. Well, that depends on the schedule of BTS. So that's the problem. We all are waiting for the schedule of BTS. Once I know, then I'll plan my trip around whatever it is that they're doing. So if they have a kickoff, so it looks like the album is going to drop spring, right? So if that's going to drop spring, we can most likely assume that the tour is going to be spring. So, however, I think they're going to do something this Christmas. I don't know if it's going to be like a special thing or whatever. Maybe they will release a single before just to, because they're kind of they it seems that they're very very aware that the armies are waiting. We're dying to get something from them. So I think they're gonna try and release something in advance just to give us something. I don't know. Maybe that will happen before the actual release of the album. So the thing is that if they don't do something this Christmas, then I'm not gonna go because that they are the whole reason I'm going to Korea. If they do something next year, spring or whatever, then I'll go next year. So that is the deal. But the plan to actually go there and to meet some of you guys so we can all travel, go to the different places that they've been in, that's still on. So that includes Busan, Daegu. Daegu is such a beautiful place. Um, just to visit their hometown. I don't plan to like stalk where they lived in their hometowns. I think that's a little too much. But going to like the main tourist spots in their hometowns, that's definitely in the on the list. Jungkook said preparing for performance in one of his chats. Yeah, there you go. Maybe if he's going to do something, I whatever that may be, if he goes on tour, if he has a solo performance, they have a single, whatever that may be, then I'm good. Yeah, maybe it has something with Calvin Klein, maybe a single. We don't know. Whatever. Yeah, I'm just here to support whatever he and the rest of the boys decide to do. I'll be here supporting. Okay. Um, should we go to our topics? What do you want to do first? Okay, baby, you have to. My mom's gonna take him. Wait. Come here, come here, come here. Come on. He's gonna go on. Sorry, he's gonna go on his afternoon walk. Okay. Hi everyone. I didn't notice Fiona was going live earlier than usual. I hope I didn't miss nothing yet. I just explained like some of the things that are happening, some of the plans by Debak. Yeah, he's gonna go on. He's gonna come back. I'm sure he'll make one more appearance before the end of the the live stream. Okay, so what do you want to do? Something coming next month according to V. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. A Mac joint concert. Well, Jimin is still in in US, so we don't know. But whatever it is, I mean, whatever they decide to do, I'm not really. I'll just be here supporting. Okay, what do you want to talk about first? Brand deals? You want to talk about the business of K-pop? You want to talk about the new phase that I'm preparing, or do you want to talk about New Jeans? Hi. I think no more solo music. I think it's group music. Maybe it's a group music. We don't know. I think no more. Someone told me that I can actually do a poll. I don't know how to do it here. Maybe I can do it if I'm streaming directly from YouTube, but not from here. Brand deals. Let's go talk about brand deals. All right. Who's in Seoul? Who's in LA? I think Jungkook is in Seoul. I'm not sure about V. Someone said he is in Seoul, maybe. And then the rest are in the US, including Jin, because Jin is on a tour. And those are the ones. So I think Jungkook has something for CK. That's just a guess. I think he has something for CK. Maybe the special show that he's doing is for CK. We don't know. But I don't. But to me, it doesn't matter. Whatever it is that they do, I'm just gonna support. I'll be cheering for. I'll be happy. Whatever it is that I can get, I will be happy. Okay, you want to do so? Let's be done with New Jeans so that it's over. And it is a little. It's actually shorter than usual because a lot of the news developments that have been released, they've been released last week already. So a lot of you already know that, especially if you're in X or Facebook or IG. A lot of these things have been reported already, and I'm sure some of you are already part of several communities who are actually discussing this. So I'm not going to give you a whole lot of details about what's happening, some developments. It's more like a perspective because I was just thinking about this case over the weekend, and it's just I'm glad it's shorter. It is shorter. So it's just that it actually was driven by many good news. We're getting a lot of good news, new achievements by many other groups in K-pop that are making waves in the US, right? Like for example, ATs. I think they had their first stadium show. That they sold out their first stadium show, and I'm so happy for them. They're so hardworking. They deserve this, and it's for coming from a small company, it's a new win. I always love it when groups from smaller companies are actually able to make a lot of headways, because that the more spread out the power is, the better for the industry. So that's one. And second, I'm sorry, but I feel like this is a good sign because this is something that Big Hit started. When they managed to launch BTS as a global group, it showed everybody that, hey, you can do the same thing, right? It's possible for you to come from nothing. They were almost bankrupt, and they were actually bankrupt, not almost, and they managed to create BTS. So it's the same thing for any other group from the smaller agencies. It's a sign that it's possible for them to achieve something great. And then of course you have Stray Kids, who get very not as much support from JYP because they're self-produced, and they are breaking records in Europe. My God, the amount of people they're pulling in their concerts, that this achievements really make me happy. And I hope, and I surely hope that many other groups will follow them. So I'm always cheering for those small ones because that's good for the industry. And so when all of those news hit the headlines, I just thought like, what if many groups, if many K-pop groups are actually making waves internationally? Is this noise that New Jeans and Min Heejin are creating actually worth anything? Is it oh yes, the Rose is also on tour, and they're also selling out their venues. Although it's funny thing about the Rose, they said that they kind of regret. Well, not that they regret. It's just that a lot of their fans kind of complain that the venues are too small. And they said the Rose actually explained that they decided to go smaller because they wanted to bring back the intimacy of the performance that they used to do. So but that ended up a lot. Well, that caused a lot of fans to not be able to get tickets because the venues are smaller. So this again, these are good signs, these are great signs. And so with all of those backdrop, I'm just starting to, and not only that, sorry, I keep on interrupting, but even the success of K-pop Demon Hunters, uh they're going to create um, a live action version of that, right? And so again, that's a sign that okay, it's moving forward. This genre is moving forward, and that's great because that's going to give a lot of people opportunities to fulfill their dreams, a lot of employment for a lot of people. And so, with all of these things that are happening, success that we only imagined when it was first gen, second gen groups, is this noise that's being created by Min Heejin and NewJeans really worth anything? Is it really impacting anybody outside of the HYBE lawyers earning more? And the answer is that it's not. Because if it has any effect, the industry is going to be on a stagnant. It's not. It's moving forward in incredible phase. It's so fast. As I've said, a lot of groups are actually making waves, not just in the US, but in Europe, in other parts of Asia, even in Oceania. Is that the right pronunciation? Okay, some new developments. So Team Bunnies apparently released some information. These are police investigation information. So the result of the police investigation, they released it. And supposedly the only people that should have a copy of that would be the legal team of NewJeans and NewJeans themselves. So the question is, how did you get a copy of this? And even worse, when you release the copy, you didn't really block the names of people that are involved, and someone actually forwarded that. So they someone filed a complaint against them asking for an investigation, because how did this group manage to get a hold of confidential information from the police? So that's one development. um, Next is the other major development is that New Jeans now is claiming that they were the ones who asked Min Hee Jin to file a complaint in relation to the plagiarism, which is, they are using it in the wrong way, plagiarism and all of those stuff. They're saying that it wasn't Min Hee Jin's idea, it was us, and we asked her to file a complaint. So someone actually messaged me asking, "Do you believe that it was actually their idea?" I think at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because that's what they're claiming. That's what they told the court. Now, of course, you shouldn't lie to the court. That's perjury. So we're gonna have to assume, unfortunately, that they are telling the truth. Now, did I think that they are just saying this to cover up for Min Heejin? Sure, quite. That's just to be honest. I do think that they said it just because they want to cover her ass. But that if that is the case, then number one, this is a new level. This is a new level of loyalty to Min Heejin. And second is that that really changes how you will look at them. Because if they, number one, if they were the ones who actually told Min Heejin they're plagiarizing us, the first step, if you are a mature CEO, the first step is to sit down with the girls and explain to them, okay, these are the stuff that you think they plagiarized. Um, and this is why you're wrong. Because remember, copying is different from plagiarism. Plagiarism involves the person being copied having legal ownership of what is being copied. So that's clear. That's the only time there is plagiarism. If the person claiming to be copied has legal ownership of that. So that's the first level of plagiarism. The second level of plagiarism is if the person who copied benefited from it in one way or another. Most of the time, when you're going to take it to court, you have to prove that you benefited from that economically. Then that is plagiarism. Everything else, almost everything else, is fair use. Okay. So if that is the case, if the girls went to Min Heejin to say they plagiarized us, her first responsibility is to actually educate the girls and tell them, okay, this is plagiarism. This is what plagiarism is. That's one. Second is that the truth, she should have explained that all of these choreographies, all of this styling, I wasn't the one who created this. All of this already existed before we used it. Cat Daddy, that is a very popular choreography. One of the most, I would say, Cat Daddy is actually one of the it's one of the most popular step routine ever created in the East, in the Bronx. So for them, so that did not originate from Min Heejin. So that was her responsibility to explain to the girls, it, we did not create this. Before us there were other hundreds of other people who already used it, and this was already popularized by the creators themselves. Right? So so that's one. She should have explained that just because you that somebody launched with all black hair, all long black hair, it doesn't mean that you are being copied. That just because they had a brand deal doesn't mean they're copying you. That should have been, all of that should have been her responsibility. So if she didn't do that, then it doesn't absolve her from the fault. It means that she was a irresponsible CEO. How could you not have explained to the five girls that all the things that you're complaining about, that they plagiarized, you don't own anyway? So that's a separate level of argument. And that should be grounds further for her to get fired. Because if you cannot sit down with your talents, with your artists, to explain to them these things, these very young talents under you, then you're not fit to become a CEO. Okay. So that's the main problem with this argument. If they are claiming that they were the ones who went to Min Hee-jin and told her they are plagiarizing us, it should have been her responsibility to explain. If she didn't do that, that means she failed. I don't know if the girls are aware of it though. I don't know if they will listen. I think at this stage, they're either just trying to get her off the hook, make sure that all the blame, everything, yeah, all the faults, all the blames, it will come back to them, because then they will get more sympathy, right? Because they are young and they have a lot of fans. Now, do I believe that? I don't, but it doesn't matter at this stage. The only thing that matters is that they went on record, went to the court, and are legally claiming they were the ones who started this complaint. If they are lying, that's perjury. So we cannot, they shouldn't, we have to assume that they're telling the truth, because the alternative is worse. The alternative is that they are committing perjury, and that they can go to jail for. Okay, so everyone feel them. If they were the ones who thought about them getting plagiarized and no one actually corrected it, then everyone actually failed them, because no one properly explained to them that everything that they are complaining about is not legally owned, nor did it originate from them. Okay. MHJ doesn't have an original thought in her head. Sorry, I'm actually looking for. Okay. And MHJ doesn't have an original thought in her head. All she knows is how to repurpose others' ideas. And New Jeans are positioning themselves for mediation in a way by saying this. They are saying she as CEO is not doing her job. They are saying she as CEO is not doing her job, but the lawyers know, so they would have counseled against it. How many times is the story the girls tell going to change? They need to pick up a story and stick to it, even if the story is a bunch of rubbish. True. Okay. All right. So again, let's step back. Let's just assume that all of this is, that they're telling the truth. As I've said, we have no choice but to believe them, because the alternative is worse. The alternative is them committing perjury, which we don't want them to commit ever. We don't want that we don't want anybody in the history to ever commit that. When you go to Korea, you have to tell the truth, people. Okay, so let's step back a little bit. How is it affecting HYBE or ADOR? Groups managed by the labels under ADOR, sorry, under HYBE are actually on tour and they're selling out their venues. Le Seraphim, TXT, um, uh, and Hypen, and then well, Eyelet doesn't have enough, so they'll probably do a mini tour very soon, and of course we have BTS very soon following. So obviously the groups under Hype are not getting affected, so they're still earning, and they're earning in the best way possible because they're touring, and that's where the money is actually at. TXT just released their new album. And then Hybe's expansion actually continues. They're buying companies, they're expanding to different regions. So they have India, as you know, they just put up a branch in India. Uh, this year they opened a branch in Latin America. They're probably gonna do something in Australia very soon. So the expansion is actually continuing. So that they don't have any effect on that. And the thing is that if they're able to expand in countries like India, like Latin America, that means they had enough money to begin with to set up the office, to set up the company. And then after that, that means that they have enough to show the banks in those countries to file a loan, because no company will ever allow you to set up, no company will allow you, no country, sorry, no company will ever operate a company on cash. Everybody files a loan. That's just the truth. You just need to file a loan. So especially if it's that big of an operation, and for you to file a loan, you need to show proof that you're a company that can pay it off. So from the eyes of the banks, of all of these banks that are lending them money, they're still good. Daddy Yankee, yeah, I know, for Latin America. Okay, so we know that Daddy Yankee actually went to the Hive office in South Korea. Let's see what he's going to be doing, because I know that he retired, right? Okay, and then in terms of global headlines in the media, it's still the BTS comeback that's dominating. I mean, blink and you'll see like 10 new articles about their comeback. Sometimes it's the same narrative being read over and written about over and over again, but they don't care, but because they're still getting clicks when it is BTS. And HYBE has satellite offices in almost every region now. They dissolved that in South Korea. They will have no problem operating from the US, from Europe, from whatever country they choose to operate on. So who are they really? Obviously, it does not affect HYBE. Sure, it's getting the most likely the lawyers are actually having a field day right now. They're getting paid a lot with all the lawsuits that they're actually handling. But other than that, but I mean, that's an expectation in any company. You get a lot of lawsuits, especially if you become as big as that. K-pop groups. Now, from the perspective of K-pop groups like Twice, Blackpink, at 80s, Stray Kids, all of them are touring and all of them are breaking records. They're selling out their stadiums, they're selling out their venues, they're doing well. So that means that whatever is happening with NewJeans and whatever is happening with Min Heejin and Adore and Hype, it's not affecting Hype, it's not affecting the K-pop industry. So who is it affecting? It's just really NewJeans. NewJeans is absolving Min Heejin of all of her faults. They're taking all the blame. They're saying that everything originated from them. So they are the only ones that are unable to work. Everyone else is going about their lives. They're going about their careers. They are the only ones that are not able to do any kind of work. You have new groups launching every second and every minute in South Korea. You have Meow, you have All Day Project, you have all of these new groups are coming up. They are unaffected. So all of this chatter, if you really look at it, all of this chatter, it really doesn't matter. It has no effect on the grand scheme of things. So all of this illusion that things are going to change, that this has to be, it's just an illusion. These are just people trying to make themselves feel important, as if whatever is happening in this very, very small case actually affects the industry, when the numbers clearly states that no, it has no effect on the industry. And that only makes my heart goes out even more for New Jeans, because at the end of the day, it's their career that's going to get destroyed if they don't figure this entire thing out. So that was it. That was I as I've said, very minimal update. I'm sure you've heard all this development on X, on Facebook, on Instagram, but just pulling back a little bit. I just want us all to realize it isn't affecting anybody. It's just not affecting any. It's just affecting New Jeans, and I hope they realize that at the end of it, they will take all the blame, while the world continues. No matter, the truth is that no matter this decision, things are going to continue. High, even if the court sides with them, Hybe is just going to be stricter with their contracts. That's what's going to happen. I'm sure that their CEOs, they've already revised those contracts so that it is stricter. I'm sure that they will never provide the kind of privileges that they've provided Min Heejin, no matter the condition. I'm sure that they've learned their lesson, and now that contract is just going to be stricter and rolled down to all other artists, and all other agencies will do the same thing, because they don't want the same thing happen to them. Doesn't matter the agency, YG, SM Entertainment, JYP, the smaller ones, they're gonna look at this and they're gonna say, nah, that's not gonna happen to us. So we're just going to make the contract stricter. That's the only thing that will happen. And I hope New Jeans actually realizes that, because they're the ones that are losing. The only entity in this entire thing that's losing. The only thing that Hybe is losing is money, because they're paying a lot to their lawyers. Okay, questions. Old Pants should join a military, then come back as a hero and continue until the end of the contract. Maybe then people will forget. Um, nice job explaining. Thank you. Humility is required, and they have none. Agree, Bang Luna, multi-stan. I think what's going on now with Bang Shiyuk's so-called allegations, it's a ploy to stop or delay Hybe expansion. Many people in Korea are pissed seeing this, and not the culturally big three. Um, I'm sure that there is. I'm sure that we know this about the society, about Korean society, that the elite kind of wants to keep their world small, because the smaller they are, the more powerful they are, right? The chebos, the smaller that group is, the more powerful they are. Now if new players come in and new powers are created, that is going to disillusion the power that they have. So that they want to protect it, they want to keep it small, so that it's status quo, that they will remain the most powerful, that no other and also what Bang Shiyuk, what Big Hit, and what BTS actually did is some sort of a case study. It's a very clear case study on how you can actually rise from nothing to the top. It's a clear case study. And if more and more entrepreneurs figure it out, then that's not a good sign for the chaebols of South Korea, because it's going to even the playing field. Okay, if the court sides with them, then all K-pop idol can use emotional turmoil to break their contracts. The my only thing, I think the biggest consideration for the court is the fact that the five girls are saying, no matter what you do, we're not going to go back. Because how can you move from that is a question, right? The girls are saying they don't want to work with Hybe anymore, with Adore. So the court needs to, at their best, do their best to try and find a solution to this. How can you not, just essentially forcing, although that's not unprecedented, by the way. There have been court decisions where the court just said, like, I'm sorry, you're just gonna have to fulfill your contract. That has happened before. So that's also not unprecedented. But I think one of the things that the court is considering is, what are you going to do when the girls are saying they just don't want to work with HYBE, right? So let's see what's going to happen. They said they will go back if they got the old ADOR back. Tell them to stop being idols or pay through the nose to buy out their contract. That is, in my head, that is the most likely outcome, for the court to do. So it's a long process. The Ken Sterling actually explained it and how the court is going to go about it. The court cannot force an agreement. That's the thing. They cannot force an agreement, and but they can do some stuff so that it leads to an agreement. So kind of the same thing, but there's a lot of legal. I can explain it in the next live stream, but that's kind of what the court, that's one option for the court. They can do certain things so that it leads to an agreement, a settlement, where, but it's not called a settlement, where the group will be released from their obligation, but you're going to have to pay your fine. Okay. All right, what do you want to talk about next? Then let them pay for the termination fee and go. It's that easy, or else other idols will do the same thing. And also, I think one thing, let's not underestimate the fact that I think HYBE and ADOR knows that there's just no way the girls are going to come back. I think they know that. I think they know that. If I know, how can they not know? Right? If we all know that, how can they not know? There are way more smart people in that company and in that law firm, right? So they know that's, they're not, in a business discussion, the one thing that you do is lie to yourself and so the actual options that you have. So I think these people actually know that they cannot force the girls to come back. So the only thing that they need to think of is how to work around it. The only thing that they need to think about at this stage is just to make sure that they don't lose money, and that the sanctity of an exclusive contract remains. That's their only fight, I think. And all of this effort to try and show that they want NewJeans back, that they're trying to secure contracts for the girls, all of these things, this is their effort to show the court that they are doing their part. 101% we're doing our part. And it's just the girls that are not cooperating. So you can't pay me enough to make me believe that ADOR, HYBE, and that law firm don't know that this is going to be an unworkable working situation. They know that. They know it's not going to work. So it boils down to, how are we going to maintain the sanctity of an exclusive contract and make an example out of these girls, and how do we make sure that we get our money back? And you do that by showing the court that you're doing your part from beginning to end. All right, what do you want to do next? Brand deals? Or do you want to talk about the stock market? I despise NewJeans more when I remember Hanny's nasty attitude towards the new CEO, her smirk. Oh my God. Bang Luna, can you give an update, as I was late? Was there a ruling on NewJeans? There is no ruling yet. There is no ruling yet. So the court sent it to mediation. Okay, so that's the new development. The court actually sent it to mediation. So, excuse me. So the court sent it to mediation, which a lot of people are saying is an unlikely scenario, because it's not. So usually the court really does this before they do their final decision, before they decide on the case. They will do one last attempt to settle this out of court. And then if that doesn't work, then but this is not an unusual. This happens in almost all cases like this. They would, right before the final decision, they will send it to mediation to try and see if there's any way they can change. They don't have to actually be the one to to do any kind of decision, give a decision. Brand deals. Okay, let's do brand deals. She's talking about, yes, I was talking about how unimportant this case is in the grand scheme of things. They went to mediation, but the right girls are adamant they won't go back. Okay, so let's talk about brand deals. As you know, Jin last week replied to a post saying that the post actually was, if you look at it, it was smartly worded, if at all, because it was just like somebody emphasizing that he had way more brand deals than the other boys, right? That was the post, but it wasn't really, it was like wow or something like that. But he responded and said that, oh, it's just that I did a lot, but the other members actually get tons of ad offers too, like dozens or hundreds. They just choose not to do them. Even I've turned down more than a dozen myself. I think I'm just gonna focus on what I'm doing now and probably won't take on any more. Though if something I really like pops up, I might totally change my mind. So just like masterclass in a takedown. This is how you shut up somebody without actually saying shut the F up. Okay. So hi SC. So that's essentially his response to one of those fans. Okay, so just now a lot of people are asking after this, many people are claiming that this member is not a brand ambassador of this anymore or whatever. One of them is fans of Jimin emailing CK, sorry, not CK, Dior, asking if he's still a brand ambassador of Dior. And the brand, one of the CK PR person said that yes, he's still a brand ambassador. And so people were asking if he still is a brand ambassador of CK. Suga is a brand ambassador of Valentino. Why weren't they in the fashion week? Why weren't they invited? Okay, so let's go through how, as you know, I've actually spent more than a decade. I'm actually dating myself here, but I've spent more than a decade in the advertising and marketing industry. You work for DDB Worldwide. So that's one of the biggest advertising agencies in the world. One of its longest client is Volkswagen. So DDB is the one that created the campaign Lemon. So during, what happened was, it was just right after World War II, I think. So Germany was not really in a good place in terms of reputation. So now Germany released Volkswagen, and so they approached an American company to market them, and that happened to be DDB. So the big challenge for DDB is, how do you not emphasize the makers of Volkswagen, which is Germany? So, and that's where they created Lemon. So they put a picture of Volkswagen, the Beetle, the old Volkswagen model, and the headline was Lemon. Because what they were trying to do was make people think of something else other than Germany when they look, when they see the car. And because it is, the color was actually lemon, that's what they want you to think. You see the car, you think lemon, not Germany. And then the other version of that was think small, because it's a small car, and all the other cars in the US at that time were big, they were massive, long, and whatever. And then here's a car that's just good for one person. It's really small and it's really affordable. And so they want people to think, if you just want a car to get you from point A to point B without all of those like stuff that comes in your car that you don't need, then you go for Volkswagen. And they succeeded. So that's the legacy of DDB. So ever since that, they've of course managed to get other accounts and stuff. So that's the company that I used to work for. Okay, so John Jungkook, our Maknae, wore a cap in the airport, and a lot of speculation as to what that cap means. And it turned out that it's most likely going to be CK, and it is probably going related to the CK store that will open in Tokyo, because I think they're going to open next month. So, and people made the connection because the color of his cap is the same color as the CK logo and the billboard in front of the store of CK. So they think that's where the speculation that what's happening right now, that what he's doing is that's why he went back to South Korea. It's actually connected to the CK opening in Tokyo. We don't know, but people are speculating that. Okay, so let's look at now why. So just a simple brand ambassador is actually the same as a simple definition of what an ambassador is. It's the same as a brand endorser. We used to call it an endorser. So it's an individual, a celebrity, influencer, expert, or a loyal customer who is contracted to represent and promote a brand. One second. Mami, naririnig ko yung that is contracted to represent a brand for a fee. Okay, that's what a brand ambassador is. Okay, so there are certain things to consider when somebody is signed as a brand ambassador. One is the duration of the agreement. It's very, very rare for a big celebrity to sign an initial agreement that goes on for more than 2 years. It's when they sign anything more than 2 years, that means that they were paid a huge amount of money for them to do that. Usually for a caliber, for a BTS caliber, for example, that's usually a year or two, and that is to protect both the brand and the ambassador. Because if you're an ambassador, if you're a celebrity, you don't want to get caught up with a brand in case they do something questionable. Like, what is this brand that was it Bulgari? I quite don't quite remember that brand that came out with an ad with children wearing like S&M stuff. I can't quite remember the brand. But, if they do anything like that, if they get themselves involved in anything questionable, you don't want them to you don't want to get tied up to that contract. Although there are morality clauses on both sides. So, but usually that's one of the reasons they prefer a shorter contract period. And then if you're a brand, you don't want to go over 2 years because you don't know how the brand ambassador, Balenciaga, there you go. You don't know what a brand ambassador is going to, how the brand ambassador is going to affect the 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 brand. So it could be for all signs could point to this is going to work, but you still don't know until it actually happens, right? So you want to keep it short and then just renew after. Okay, but that of course entails risks. Like if the brand ambassador realizes that this is really working, I'm actually good for your brand, and now we're renewing, I could ask for more money. So it's risk on both ends. Okay, risk on both ends. Okay, now exclusivity is another. There are contracts, I don't know if you know this, but there are actually contracts that is just a lockout on all, meaning you can't endorse anything else. That's very rare, but that could happen. The brand can say, no, I'm going to pay you a huge amount of money, but you're not going to endorse anything else, not even if it is not the same vertical, meaning the same industry as ours. So for example, this is just an example, this is not true, just but for example, Nike comes to um I don't know, LeBron. Nike says, okay, LeBron, you're going to endorse our brand, which is okay. So this is just an example. They go to LeBron and says, you can't endorse anything else. You cannot endorse Gatorade. You can't endorse a car. You can't. We're going to pay you a huge amount of money, but you can only be the face of our brand. So that can happen, but it's very rare. So that is determined in the contract. Are they exclusive? There are also non-exclusive contracts. So for example, Chanel can come to me and say, okay, Fairlane, you're going to be the face of the brand, but I'm just going to pay you like $100, and that frees you to endorse other brands. So if an ambassador is allowed to endorse other brands, then that goes to show how the brand sees the ambassador, right? Because if you're very much valued, you usually do not want that same ambassador to be able to endorse any other brand that competes with you. Okay. And then there's the usage rights. It specifies how brand actually can use an ambassador's name. So is it just for TV ad? So that's actually specified. Like for example, Angelina Jolie can say, "I'm sorry, Louis Vuitton, you can only use my name for TV, nothing else. You can't do any kind of uh, billboard, no online ads or whatever, just TV." They can demand that. And if you're somebody like Angelina Jolie, you're in the position to actually demand a limited usage, right? Okay, compensation is another. It could be a flat fee, it could be a performance bonus, it could be royalties, product perks, or equity. So a flat fee is that you get paid, okay, here's 5 million. You're going to do two TV ads that we will run for 2 years, one radio ad, five events, seven billboards, and free usage for social media. For example, that's the term. And here's 5 million. So that's a flat fee. A performance bonus is if, for example, this is common among, excuse me, influencers. So some influencers actually get a performance bonus. So for example, so for example, um, Gatorade can say, okay, LeBron, if our sales, we're going to release a new flavor. And if our sale, if we hit, and you're going to be the face of the brand, or if that, of that flavor, if it goes up by, if the sales actually reaches like, this is just an example, 1 billion in 1 year, you get 10% bonus. That could be okay. The other thing is that it could be royalty based product perks or whatever, and equity is ownership of the company, so stocks usually. Termination is the condition by which any party can either can end the contract. So reputation risk or morality clauses is very common. So a brand can say, "I'm sorry, but you cannot engage in any kind of political talk." The minute that you say anything political, it voids the contract. So that, or the it can be the other way. The artist can say, if you, the company, if you, Gatorade, says anything political on an official basis, this contract ends. You will not get your money back, and you cannot use any of my images. Okay. And then there are, as I've said, exclusivity exemptions. Some contracts allow you to work with non-competing brands. If it is exclusive, usually the more valuable endorsers are usually, of course, you have to be exclusive, right? So if you're not, if they are allowing you to work with other brands, then most likely that's how they value you. That shows how much they value you. And of course, brand guidelines. Usually for the duration of the contract, you some, especially those that are not as A-list as BTS, as Angelina Jolie, as Jennifer Aniston, you're required to maintain a certain image, a certain decorum. You're not allowed to do this, do that, or whatever. Okay. I think LV paid J Hope crazy money. I think there's equity in there. Okay. That's not official. It's just my speculation. Okay, deliverables. List of required actions. So so on the end, for example, as I've said, like 5 million, you have to do two TV ads, which we will have an edit down or cut down of 30s, like 5 30s out of that, whatever. And then five events, you need to attend five events. Then there's billboard, five billboards across North America, 10 across US, across Asia and Europe, and then all of those things. So everything that you are expected to deliver, that is on the contract. Anything outside of contract, the ambassador doesn't have to fulfill. Approval rights. Talent may have rights to approve scripts, creatives, or final ads, especially if you are a certain level. A-list, BTS, Angelina Jolie, Brad Pitt, whoever, that kind of caliber. Beyonce, Taylor Swift, all those, same caliber. They are required. They can ask for approval. And then the morality clause. So certain things that if you do automatically voids the contract on both ends, on either end. So, why big celebrities don't join every brand event they represent? So, this came as a big question because Suga didn't appear in the Valentino show, Jimin didn't appear in the Dior show. So, why are they not going there if they are still a brand ambassador? Several reasons, several reasons. But one is if you are, and this is very common, especially if you're as big as I've been mentioning, as Beyonce, Taylor Swift, BTS, you don't want your image overused, right? Because the more common you are, the more seen you are, then the value goes down. Celebrities are a brand themselves. Remember that. They are a brand as well. Every member of BTS, every member of Stray Kids, every member of Blackpink, of Twice, they are a brand by themselves. And part of their power comes from not being overexposed. So if they appear in every event, it dilutes their impact. Limited appearances make each one feel special, driving more press and attention. So, the more, if you're in that caliber and the less appearance you are, the more value they give to you because the brand is essentially saying, yeah, okay, I will accept it even if you only want to appear in two of our events. That is fine because we value you, because your scarcity boosts our image or our brand even more. Okay, so that's one. So just try and recall when was the last time that Beyonce appeared in any Tiffany event, but she's a known brand ambassador of Tiffany, right? In fact, it's Tiffany that goes to her in all of her shows. She was always given a one of a kind piece to wear in at least one of her shows, in one of her songs. Because for Beyonce, the less I am seen in your space, the more value I give to your brand. So Tiffany allows it. Tiffany saying, yes, Beyonce, we value you enough, so we will be the ones to go to you instead of you coming to our events, to our stores. We're just gonna bring the jewelries to you so that you can wear it once in your concert, because the minute that the other people see it, people would want it. So that is value. Okay, same thing is true for somebody like Taylor Swift. When was the last time you ever saw her in any Capital One event? Never, because the more she pulls back, the more value she gives to the brand. Okay. Now, I know that the other thing is that, and that is how the contract is actually structured. So, when on the idol side, when they write the contract and put forward all of their demands, everything is already calculated. So brand people, marketing people, stylists, the artist itself, the managers, they all come together and agree, okay, for Suga or for RM or for every member of BTS, this is how valuable they are. And so we don't want, they put a value in their appearance. So the minute you make them appear in something, there's a corresponding financial value. So that's one. Second is that, the as mentioned in the first point, the more scars they are in events, the more valuable they become. So if they keep on appearing in every event, it's going to feel like they are working for the brand instead of the brand working for them. And if you're the idol, if you're a BTS member, you want to make it clear to everybody that it is the honor of the brand to work with me. Again, going back to Beyonce, she will not just go to any kind of event because it is more valuable. She's more valuable than the brand. Does that make sense? So another consideration is that big, of course, schedule conflicts. If they're busy doing something else, then they can't go. It's as simple as that. Um, an actor could be filming somewhere in Australia, in New Zealand, when an event actually happens. So they simply cannot go. Okay. And then there is strategic delegation. So if you're the brand, if you are Celine, because I saw Taeyong's name, if you're um, Dior, if you're Valentino, then or LV, you want to be strategic in how you're going to be using those appearances, right? You don't want to pull them in every event. If they give you 2 event appearances, for example, in their contract, you want to use that wisely. You want to use it when it counts. Or you want to use it in an event where they will be the highlight instead of throwing them in with all the other ambassadors, because then you won't be able to maximize the pool of other ambassadors. Okay. Um, Next. And then, as I've mentioned before, brand elevation. If the ambassador appears a lot in every event, then it's going to look like it's the ambassador serving the brand, when in fact it should be the other way around. When you get to a certain level, right? When you get to the Beyoncés of this world, the BTS of this world, the Taylor Swift, and same caliber, you want the brand to work for you. That's how it should appear. That you are attaching your name to me. I'm not attaching my name to you. Now, for new idols, then it's the other way around. That's why in the beginning, a lot of idols actually appear in many events, because they still are the ones that are benefiting from the brand. And the other thing is private events. So this is often overlooked. Sometimes, if there are exclusive events, especially if it's like a Tiffany or um, Fred Jewelry, they have a lot of private events, and that's catered to like the billionaires of this world. So you usually want to invite the celebrity in those events, because that's more beneficial for you than actually doing like a general public event. Okay. How management companies court brands for their idols. Okay, so for new idols, right? Many new idols actually do manage to snag a brand deal with big brands early on. I can tell you right now that when you are that new and you get a brand deal, you don't get paid a lot. And many of these luxury brands actually don't get paid a lot unless you get to the level of like Beyonce and Taylor Swift and all of those things. Because if you're Beyonce and they're paying you like 1 million, what the hell do I need your 1 million for? I'm a billionaire. So get the hell out of my face, right? But for new idols, there is a way for them to actually snag a brand deal very very early on. So usually they don't get paid a lot, but it involves very calculated moves. So the company usually work behind the scenes to position these idols as desirable, fashion forward, on trend, and very very relevant. So dressing idols in specific brands before any official deal, that's very common. That's why you see a lot of idols, they do their airport fashion in very specific brands, and they make a point to actually show that they are carrying a Chanel or a Prada or a Gucci, even though they are not yet officially tied to that brand. Now what the agency is trying to do is generate buzz, so they can show the brand and say, okay, look, this idol wore your dress, or she carried your purse, and look at the amount of mentions that you got, the free media that you got. People are buying it because she was seen carrying it. Okay, so the airport fashion is actually very very important for idols. That's important. That's why many agencies actually release it to fans, because they want the fans to come to the airport, because they want to show the brand that this idol is very popular, that even though they weren't called to the event, fans showed up because she is popular. I hope you're getting what I'm saying. Okay, so this is called the style seeding. Stylists intentionally pull clothing from target luxury or designer brands. No deal yet, just visual alignment. Pull is when the stylist actually come to the brand, the luxury brand, and they borrow clothes. Okay, but that should be returned, and that will be returned. So they're just going to say like, okay, she's going to go on a special event, let me pull this. So they call that a pull. They pull it, so they get clothing from brands. Brand tagging, so, social posts or fan pages tag the idol in outfits, raising visibility among fashion insiders. So a lot of fan accounts, especially those that are very much tied into the fan club, they would start tagging the brand. Again, that's not by accident, as calculated. Each agency has a fan club group. Okay, so they have a fan club team, and this fan club team's job is to get in touch with the fans of the idol, so that whatever they need to hype, they can hype, right? So if I'm the brand, the fan team, I'm a member of the fan team of ITZY, for example, then I have direct connections to the different fan clubs. And then I can just tell them, okay, our Ryujin is actually going to go in the airport and she has a Chanel. Can you please tag Chanel? Hashtag Chanel. Please post different pictures. Please, blah, blah, blah. Those are all calculated. Okay. And the agency wants that, again, because they're campaigning for the brand to partner with the agency. So if you think that every fan that's in the airport is there just because they want to, sure, probably, but also because they were informed and they were expected to be there. So don't blame all those people that are there. They're expected to be there. Back channel buzz, channel buzz, or agencies send lookbooks, press kits, or fan engagement stats to fashion PR reps. During my time, boomer version. So when I was still working for the agency, this is actually what we usually get. This is the most common when it was before this campaign started. This is what we got. We would get pictures of different celebrities wearing different looks, using different brands. If we are representing that brand, they will show it to us and they will prove that this generated buzz, this buzz here, buzz there, whatever, convincing us to tell the brand that we should get this ambassador as this celebrity as an ambassador. There's a lookbook. So, and we get that like every month. Every month I would go through like 50, 100 of that, different celebrities, convincing the brands that we represent to get them in any kind of event, and then eventually to be an official endorser or ambassador. And we usually have fun with that, because when we negotiate, so for example, if we have an event, for example, Smart Communications, this is the phone company that BTS represented in the Philippines. They are signed to Smart Communications in the Philippines. So we have events, right? And we have all of this lookbooks of different celebrities, and we have an event. And for example, the brand manager tells us, the agency, we want a lot of celebrities there. Then we're just gonna go get in touch with all of the celebrities, these managers, and tell them, okay, send them over. And they would get sometimes they'll get like a baggie, like a goodie bag or whatever. Sometimes they get paid a small amount, but more importantly, what they get is the exposure to the brand. Okay, media amplification. So fashion blogs, magazines pick up the look, and they help the idol trend it organically. So outside of the fans, we have a PR team, the agency, we have a PR team that actually gets in touch with the different bloggers, different media personalities, so that they will write about the image, how this celebrity actually fits a certain brand. Okay. So, and then of course, the official invitation. If buzz is strong, the idol gets invited to Fashion Week, showroom visits, or campaigns. Sometimes, if there is an opening or a party, then they get invited. So, usually, that's the first step. Once you get invited, you have a chance to actually become a brand ambassador, because the brand now sees you. The PR team plays a very crucial role. Again, they are the ones that actually reach out to their media networks. They tell the celebrity writers, fashion writers, to write about the celebrity, put their picture on the magazine, and make them like appear in your best dressed list of the week. I don't know if Vogue still does that, but they did that. It used to be that it was a big thing. Like every release, every release, every magazine that they publish, they will have like the best dressed of the week, right? So that again is calculated. They don't just pull it out of anywhere. That's usually coming from PR representatives sending them pictures saying that this celebrity appeared in a certain event. This is what she was wearing. Doesn't she look pretty? And of course, many also work with viral marketing teams. And the goal is to hype on how an idol fits an image. Okay. Next, this isn't random. This is usually designed. This is by architecture. The path to becoming a brand ambassador is rarely accidental. It's engineered. What agencies focus on is aligning idols with the brands that match their image, strategically timing brand courting with comeback cycles, award shows, or solo debuts, positioning idols in fashion editorials. JK will probably release his own jewelry line. For names, however, like BTS, they don't need to align themselves with the brand, right? Because they already have a strong brand. So BTS, Taylor Swift, Beyonce, Adele, all of these personalities, they don't need to make an effort to reach out to the brand because they've already invested years and years building their brand. They have a strong brand, they know who they are. So it's just a matter of the brand finding them. And then they say yes, no to different offers. They can just accept or reject the brands that want to work with them. So I will have an exclusive video that I will be publishing just for the members of not well, yes, some will be for the Patreon members, and then of course for my YouTube members. But this will talk about luxury brands as OG fandom creators. I don't know if you know that, but the OG fandom creators are actually luxury brands, and then more details about the contracts of BTS. Now, as I've mentioned earlier, there are different types of ambassador deals. It could be a long term partnership, 1 to 3 years, it's usually two. It could be campaign specific, so it's limited to a product launch. So a lot of idols get signed up for a specific project only. So you become an ambassador for 3 months because there's an opening. The store is going to open in your country or something like that. And then it could be equity based deal. So I was just saying that for many BTS members, there's an equity in there, meaning aside aside from the fixed fee that they will get, they usually get stock options, and that is the benefit. And this is the same for like again Beyonce and Taylor Swift. They can ask for equity, so meaning a portion of their payment is actually in the form of stocks instead of just money. And then it could be and then of course they can also become part owners like what Rihanna did for Fenty. And then it could be affiliate based, so that is when they get a portion of the earnings. So for and also the equity base is also similar to what Michael Jordan did for Nike. He was the first to do that actually, so he gets just for the Jordans, he get he gets 1%, I think 1% of every sale. But if we're talking millions and billions of sales, that gives you an idea how much he actually gets. And it could be a hybrid contract, which is what Michael Jordan has. It has a flat fee, and then it also has a back end bonus and also a equity. So in the Philippines, we had a very popular celebrity. Her name is Sharon Cuneta, one of the most popular actresses of all time. And she always gets equity, a flat fee, and a bonus. And in her bonus, she states, especially if it's a new brand, she states that if your sales increase in the first after right after my campaign, I get a bonus. And that's a huge amount of money. She launched many, many new brands in the Philippines that became multi-million brands just because of her. I remember she endorsed a feminine wash, pH 5, and she was the only endorser from zero to number one. So she gets an equity, part ownership, and then also she also got millions of dollars for the increase in sales and for launching them to number one. Jennifer Aniston has equity on Smart Water. When they got her as a brand ambassador, Smart Water was just coming from nowhere. They were a new company. And in the beginning, there were no TV. The only deliverable that she had was to carry Smart Water whenever she is seen in public. And she was seen a lot in public. So she would always carry a Smart Water. And that helped the brand be known. Eventually, they got bought 4.1 billion. That was a big payday for Jennifer Aniston. I think after that, I think several years after, she was their brand ambassador for 10 years. And then they shifted to someone else before. I think they shifted to Wonder Woman. I forgot her name, and then shifted to someone else again. Didn't that Smart Water wasn't getting the same buzz that she gave them, the same push that she got from them, and so they're going back to her again. But doesn't matter. She has equity on Smart Water, so you payday for her 4.1 billion. They got purchased. Okay, so most of the time, celebrities purposely show themselves using or wearing the brand that they represent because they can get a bonus. So now it makes sense why some celebrities actually are more obvious in their support. That's because they get bonuses. So don't be surprised. Like, why is he carrying it that way? Gal Gadot, there you go, Gal Gadot. Smart Water got Gal Gadot, but they didn't get the same amount of buzz and the same amount of recognition. So they're going back to Jennifer. And also Jennifer is just a darling of PR. She's very cooperative with her publicity. That's why she gets a lot of brand deals because she's cooperative. If the PR person tells her, you need to be visible, like I need you out and about and photographed at least once a week, she cooperates. And that works for her tremendously. But that takes a special kind of celebrities because not many would actually want to be as visible as her, but she's just doing it. And in return, she got an equity under in a 4.1 billion worth company. Okay, so yeah, don't be surprised why some celebrities are actually very visible in their support. Okay, so spoke about that. Some jargons that you might hear often: vanity metrics, and this is very, very important. Superficial metrics like likes or impressions, or even follows. Like, for example, some celebrity has, I don't know, 60 million followers on IG. That's a vanity metric. If you come to a brand, for example, one of the brands that I used to represent, we're just gonna ask, so what? I don't need your 60 million followers. I need engagement. So those metrics are just vanity metrics. So the things that you usually hear being hyped by PR companies, by fans, those are vanity metrics. It does not mean anything in the brand. What is important is engagement. We want engagement. I don't care if you have 1,000 followers, but you have 90% engagement, meaning 900 of your followers are actually very active and very engaged in every post that you make. I would rather pay that person than the person that has 1 million subscribers but has like 0.05% engagement. Okay, so like for example, follower count is useless when you get to a certain level. It's all about engagement. Now, Jenny's engagement rate is 4.08, and Lisa's engagement rate in IG, this is just IG, 3.22%. These are good. These are good for somebody with this many followers. I think they have like, I don't know, 18 million followers, 60 million followers. I don't even know. They have a lot of followers. So for them to get to 4.08 and 3.22, this is good. It's not excellent, but it is good. In fact, the acceptable engagement is 0.05 to 1.5%. So if you have 100 million subscribers and you're getting zero point zero 0.05 to 1.5, that means that's acceptable. We would say in the agency, we would say, okay, those aren't bots. That's acceptable. So for them to get to 4.08 and 3.22% engagement rate, this is excellent. Okay. However, you get Yunjin and Sakura at 7.88% and 10.70%. That is more than excellent. So if I'm a brand, I'm like, wait a minute, this are bots. Right? Because if you're getting 7 point with millions of followers and you're getting 7.88, 10.72, this is what I'm talking about when I say we don't necessarily work with celebrities with a huge amount of followers. We work with celebrities or personalities that get a lot of engagement with their post. Okay, so that is excellent. Now, in the video that I'm going to be doing for Patreon subscribers and subscribers of YouTube, members of YouTube, I will go through the different engagement rates, not just of IG, but there are other social media accounts of different celebrities. And yes, I will also include BTS. I decided not to do BTS individually because there's going to be fan war in this channel, which I do not like. So I would rather do it in a controlled environment. We're going to go through all the essentially the brand power of each member, the brand power of each member. And also remember, not, I know this is going to sound surprising, okay, but for BTS or even for Les Seraphim, not every member appeals to each segment the same way and the same amount. Meaning, okay, meaning. So for example, this is just an example. This is not true, but this is just an example. Yoonjin may appear more, and this is the simplest example that I can make. Yoonjin may appeal more to the US market, but she may appeal, this is just an example, okay, but she may have an engagement rate of 20% in the US, but only 5% in Japan, right? So different segment. But for Sakura, it could be the other way. Sakura could be getting 30% engagement in Japan and, I don't know, 5% in the US. So just because they're in the same group doesn't mean they appeal to the same market the same way. They don't have the same impact in every market just because they are in the same group. Does that make sense? So for BTS, this is the easiest example I can pull. Jin will not have the same impact among the art community as Namjoon. Does that make sense? Because Namjoon is very much outspoken about his support. He talks about art a lot. And so he established his name in the art industry. So even though they are in the same group, they impact different categories and different verticals and different market differently. Okay, so I'm going to go through that in a more controlled environment in a separate video because I don't want fan wars here. I posted, it's so funny, I posted my wrap up on my military series, and there's like a war going on there. And I don't even understand their language. It's like a lot of this are from Russia. I'm like, I don't speak Russian. A lot of comments are coming from Russia. I don't know what they're saying. There's comments from Russia, from whatever. I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. But they're fighting. That's all I know. So I don't want that to happen here. But I can assure you, I can promise you that each member of BTS, their engagement is above 13%. Every member's engagement is above 13%. And that includes Jungkook's closed IG account. Okay. So and now he has a new IG account. He just opened it, MNI Jungkook. My name is Jungkook. But he had one post and he deleted it. So it's very difficult to actually measure the engagement of that. I have his engagement of the old one, of the old account. And that was like several years ago. Carla Girl, Jin and Namjoon, good analogy. Yeah. Thank you. So yeah, that's the most, because I know if I use any other example, people are just gonna, are you saying that this member is more popular than the other? No, it's just that they appeal to different segments. Hold back rights. So for talent agreements, any advertiser may hold back the rights or restricting talent from appearing in competing advertisements for a set period of time, protecting the exclusivity and effectiveness of their campaign. So for example, if they're endorsing Hyundai, for example, Hyundai, the car brand, Hyundai can say that, okay, our contract with you is 5 years. This is just an example, it's 5 years. But after the contract expires, you cannot engage in any other, you cannot sign with another car company for another 2 years. That's the holdback right. Okay. Fairlane, you will get calls from different diplomatic representatives. I know. So that's the holdback rights. And this is very common. Almost all contract has a holdback right. Okay, whitelisting is when the talent gives permission for the brand to run ads through their social handles. So they can run the ad using the handle of the celebrity. So MNI Jungkook, for example, my name is Jungkook. He can tell uh, CK, okay, you can run an ad using my handle, using my account, basically. And this is a huge thing because it appears more organic. It's not a paid ad. Okay. Beth Davidson, hi. Usage window is the time frame a brand can publicly use the ambassador's image and content. And this is usually shorter than the actual contract, right? So the contract can say 2 years, but then the usage window is only 1 year. That could happen. Next. Um, I think that's it. Oh, pass through rights. So for example, Mac or any beauty product. So because this brands they distribute in Sephora. Sephora then is allowed to use the image of the celebrity, the brand ambassador of that brand, even though they are not paying the celebrity. But because they are distributing through Sephora, then Sephora has the right to use their image to advertise, but it has to be in connection to the brand. Fairlyn, I have a hard time keeping up with you now. You'll be posting more and more. I'll have to up my game. Yes, you have to have a dedicated phone for me. A buyout is a one-time fee paid to the talent to own content rights indefinitely. Because usually, when the contract expires, then the brand cannot use the content anymore. But they can buy it out so that even after the contract expires, then I can use it perpetually. I don't have to take it out of my social media and whatever. I don't have to pay a penalty. OOH is out of home. Basically, ads or advertisement that people find outside of their home. So it could be billboards, airport ads, in-store signage, murals, all of that. That is OOH. So when you hear us say OOH, above the line is traditional TV, radio, print. That's above the line. Below the line is anything that is not TV, radio, or print. Vertical is the niche or the category your product or service operates. So it could be beauty and personal care, that's one vertical. Fashion, that's one vertical. Health and wellness, that's one vertical. Tech, and then finance and others. So usually there is a lockout or exclusivity in one vertical. If a fashion brand values you enough, they're going to lock you out in that vertical, meaning you cannot endorse another brand if, for example, if it's fashion, then you cannot endorse another fashion brand. So if they are exclusive, the more valuable that celebrity is. Okay, negotiation power factors for ambassadors. Follower count, as I've said, is less important than engagement rate. You have to show engagement. If I am the brand representative or the account manager of the brand, my question will always be, show me the engagement. I don't care about the followers. Talent with a strong conversion track record can ask for back end incentives. So remember when, for example, you see an ad of, just example, gin with gin ramen. You click that and you buy using that link. The brand tracks it. So they know, oh, there are 100 people in the last 1 hour who clicked on our ad of gin, and that ended in a purchase. So the same thing is true when you see questions like, how did you hear about us? Or whatever, something like that. So if you're buying a product because you've seen it from an idol that you like, make sure you mention it in one way or another. It could be the note. If it's in store, go to the store, tell them, I'm buying this because of blank. So they know. You go to Celine, tell them, I'm buying this because of V. So they know. Okay, it helps the celebrity up their value, their commercial value. A celebrity with global appeal can negotiate for equity or profit. That's why I said this is just speculation. Probably J Hope has an equity. the contract of J-Hope and other BTS member that probably has equity. Ambassadors with strong creative directions like BTS and Zendaya often demand approval rights and brand alignments. Okay, I think that's it. Do you have questions? So the rest, as I've said, I'm going to go through the brand par of each BTS member, but I want to do it in a controlled environment, not here where there's a lot of people listening that I don't know and will wage war against me. I don't want that. I'm in a very positive mindset right now. I don't wanna. They have questions. Jimin could be taking his time to see which brand he wants to represent. Well, Dior said that he still is a brand ambassador of Dior. Dior said that. So they replied. They're on record saying that he's still a brand representative. As I've said, this is all in the contract. He didn't go probably because he didn't have to, and he didn't go. That is by design. The amount of events that they will be going to, that's all pre-agreed. um, Lewis Hamilton also reposted Jimin's outfit that was part of Lewis Hamilton's collection. No war here. You'd be surprised. Most product celebrities indoors are out of my price range. Me too. Me too. Jimin could be. Oh, yeah. Elizabeth, he wore Dior through the airport, and even one of the operas of Dior mentioned him. One of the yeah, Fairlane and BTS at the same time. Oh my, Jimin doesn't seem now Bang Luna. You need three phones. Jimin doesn't seem to have a brand association tag since he was free from military. I think they've already answered that. I think it's amazing that BTS understood the power of engagement before they debuted. They proved how you can connect with the public without a lot of money. And I think that's very telling when Jin disclosed that even he already, you know, declined more than a dozen of offers, and others actually get more hundreds. That's very telling. And I think that's very wise that they don't just sign with just any other brand. They want to make sure that whatever they represent. And then the other thing is, they are busy outside of outside of what they are doing outside of what they do in music. They have their own businesses. I think we will be a fool to think that they don't have like investments and businesses in one form or another. And they're probably, and quite honestly, that's where you should actually put in your energy on. You know, put a brand deal will last you what, 2 3 years, and then after that what? But if you spend that amount of time building your own brand, building your own business, then that will go beyond 3 years, right? So let's not, I'm not saying that they do have a business. I'm just saying that it's one of the things that we should consider, that they are busy outside of the thing that they're doing in music. They have their own businesses. For Jin, we just know of iJin because it's a consumer brand, meaning that it is getting sold directly to consumers. But there are a lot of businesses that are targeting specific like market. It could be B2B, we don't know. Okay. I don't think they understood it in terms of branding strategy. I think they were trying to connect any way they could. NBA, NBA. I can afford Jin's ramen and tuna. Suga is still an NBA ambassador. Oh yeah, NBA. Yes. So and Suga NBA actually confirmed it right away after he was released from the military. They said that they can now like resume their activities with Suga, and that is again very telling. They themselves said that they will resume their activities with Suga now that he is free from the military, but Suga is not doing anything, right? He's not visible. So that only goes to show that just because they're not attending events doesn't mean that their deal with a brand has already ended. There's a lot of reasons they're not attending public events. Um, I don't know what would happen if Jimin come out with a makeup line for Dior like Jin did for Lene. Jin ramen is my go-to option. Okay, what do you want to do? Oh, talk to Do you want to talk about business of K-pop? We have some time. Oh, we have 20 minutes. Leia, we bought those before Jen approved. Now we buy more. Okay, so I think the market is currently open in Korea, maybe open. Let's see. Yeah, market is already open, and HYBE is actually up 0.60%. SM Entertainment is up 0.49%. JYP is up 0.29%. So they just opened. It's been 2 hours, 3 hours since it has opened. And YG Entertainment is down 1.97%, and Kakao Corporation is down 0.18%. All right. Do you have a new schedule, Fairlane? I showed up at 10 EST, but you had already been on. Yes, I'm trying to do this earlier. I'll discuss this in a bit. I'll discuss the brand, this one first. I'll try to make it fast so that I have at least 5 minutes to discuss what I'm going to be doing next. Okay, so HYBE, as you know, Billboard of all publications published an article saying that they were badly affected. That HYBE was actually badly affected by what's going on with NewJeans, which is just not accurate at all. So as I've said, right now HYBE is up 0.60%. SM Entertainment since the market opened. So it usually opens like, to them it opens like 5, I think 5 a.m. in the morning. So since the opening, they've been up 60%. 0.41 for SM Entertainment, 0.14 for JYP, and 1.97 down YG Entertainment. Now, what you're seeing is the last 5 days. So last week, basically, is what you're seeing on your screen. So yes, HYBE was down 8%, but so is JYP. JYP is down 8.45%. Did somebody mention that? Nobody. YG Entertainment was down 7.93%, and SM Entertainment was down 12.59% in the last 5 days. So this is what I'm talking about. People, publications like Billboard, somebody posts something about HYBE stocks going down this much percent, but they don't provide a full picture. And the full picture is that all of them are screwed. So if HYBE stock is going down, is down, well, theirs is worse. But is somebody talking about it? No, right? And they all want the click, because people are going to think that because of this development with NewJeans, then the HYBE stock is actually going to go down. It's way more complicated than that. So this is the summary last week on the performance of each company. SM Entertainment went down 12.59%, JYP Entertainment went down 8.45%, HYBE went down 8.04%, and YG Entertainment went down 7.93%. That's the summary last week. But all they talked about was the third worst loss. Third, not even the worst loss. The third worst loss, 8.04%. So this guy from Billboard published that article. Glenn Peoples. So Glenn Peoples, since you can't provide the complete picture, I'm going to do it. So this is the complete picture. Yes, HYBE was down. So was the others. Okay, so were the others, and they had it worse. Okay. So just to provide an even bigger picture, even Kakao Corporation was down. They were down 1.41% last week. Okay. And then Samsung wasn't, though. But it's important to consider this. Samsung was actually up last week 6.34%. And then Hyundai Motors are actually also up 1.85%. But Shinsegae, the malls in South Korea, they were down 8.30%. Okay. So the truth is that the stock market is highly volatile. It's actually, a lot of people are going to argue that it is not volatile, but the movement just goes by every second. Like, it changes. If you're a trader, if you're an active trader and you're looking at the movement of the market, it's going to drive you nuts, because those, like, charts that are going, it's changing every second. But the one thing that it doesn't do is get affected by a small case like NewJeans. The truth is that the general stock market in South Korea is in trouble because of the tariff. So I know people are going to say, what does the US have to do with the market in South Korea? Well, they are tied to the US market because a lot of the investors in South Korea are actually from the US. And their economy is tied to the US because we are their biggest market. Okay, the US is the biggest market of South Korea. So Hyundai, the car company, already knows that this was going to happen. They knew this. The moment the tariff talk started, they told their stakeholders, we're going to get affected, we're screwed, because a lot of our cars are actually distributed in the US. And the reason we're distributing in the US is because we're also getting tariffed in Europe. So we usually distribute in the US, but now they're tariffing us, so we're in big trouble. Okay, so that was happened. So Hyundai Motor flags larger tariff impact after profit drops. So that's one reason. A lot of these markets are actually going down. In the earnings season, it has been good only for AI. All other industries went down. Okay. So that includes the entertainment companies. Okay. So the foreign capital actually went up, but the won is actually weak. So since there is the many industries in South Korea distribute to the US and the tariff was actually slapped, they got affected. And so the won weakened. US dollar was stronger. So a lot of the investors actually shifted their investment from these companies, so companies like HYBE and whatever, and shifted to security, the bonds, US market bonds. We're really going very technical here. So the earnings season is typically it's 1 to 2 weeks after the quarter ends. And this is when the companies actually do their report to investors, to the public, to the media, and they talk about whether they miss their earning targets, their target earnings, whether they overperformed and whatever. And it's a big deal because this is when many investors will actually decide, am I going to put my money on you in the next quarter, or am I going to shift somewhere else? But because many of these companies like Hyundai, HYBE, SM Entertainment got slapped with tariff, their earnings got affected because the one weekend, always remember that, the one weekend, so the value of their money went down. That means they could earn 1 million won, but because the value of one went down, the real value is just, I don't know, 70. If they earned 100 million, the value is actually just 70 million because the value of the one went down. That is a primary reason. Does that make sense? Okay, it's really technical. So not really technical, but a lot of like sense, a lot of it's finance talk basically, and articles like that of Billboard does not provide a complete picture. So like reports from large companies like Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, or major banks often influence the sentiment toward the entire market. So if a huge company like HYBE went down, and HYBE distributes a lot to the US, remember that. So they got affected. So when their earnings actually went down, then the confidence of the market to the entertainment companies in South Korea got affected as well. That is the truth. Now, that means that if you're a flagship company like HYBE is a flagship company of the entertainment industry of South Korea. If they get affected, smaller companies will get affected as well. But if a smaller company goes into financial trouble, it does not necessarily affect other companies. So, um, could the current case of Heejin and NewJeans affect the confidence of investors? Probably Korean investors and most likely retail investors, not institutional investors. It won't be significant enough compared to the bigger economic developments such as tariff. All right. So my previous job was with a finance industry as an investment company, and so we deal with money day in and day out. We look at the condition of the market, and this is why I've mentioned to you before a long time ago. I've been mentioning this, that when it comes to money, it's agnostic. You cannot look at anything else but the truth. Otherwise, you're going to get into trouble. So When we're sitting down with an investor and talking to investors about certain things, I don't talk to investors, but when the companies or the representatives of the representative of the company talks to an investor, you look at actual things that will affect the value of the market, not speculation. So if you are someone with $100 million, the last thing that you will want to know is whether or not New Jeans contract will actually be validated or not. You don't care about that because that has very, very small effects in the what usually happens. And this I need you to understand. Many of these people, so they'll talk they'll f up, they'll talk whatever. I can't say the word, but YouTube might ban me. But they'll talk trash, or there you go. They'll talk trash, for example, about Tesla. Many of these companies will talk about. Many of these personalities will talk about Tesla. Tesla stock is going to go down, right? Because they badmouthed Tesla. Then they'll buy. And I cannot emphasize enough how many times that has happened. That I am so surprised people hasn't caught on. Say, okay, it's gonna go down because they talk F, right? They trash Tesla. Goes down, they buy. It's always them that benefits. So when it comes to things like this, cases like New Jeans, that's just a speck. That's just like a dust in this whole universe of entertainment. This is the last thing they'll be concerned about. They'll be concerned about sales. Are people gonna buy them? Or not even, just more speculation. Like, okay, is this a good investment right now? Right? Like, look at the science, the technical science. So whenever someone says, like, I don't know, this Glenn Peoples or whatever, talk about, oh, HYBE is actually because of this case of New Jeans, their stock goes down. Like, yeah, dude, go back to school. I don't know. How old are you? So the summary is that what's happening in the entertainment vertical, the entertainment industry in South Korea. This is in relation to the larger economic movement in the US and in South Korea. They got slapped with tariffs. South Korea committed that they're not going to retaliate. They said we're not going to retaliate. So they're taking in the hit, right? Because their cars are now more expensive in the US. So the tendency of Americans are just to buy US brands because if everything else is equal, they might as well buy a US brand. So that's what's happening. People are buying them less because they're more expensive. So that's the thing. So don't, like, all of this talks about New Jeans affecting the this is just crazy talk. They don't know what they're talking about, basically. So when you get into the market, the last thing that you have to be is emotional. If you're emotional, you shouldn't be in the stock market. Okay, do you have questions? Follow the money. Actually, I was gonna okay, I'm gonna show you this. You might wanna oh, there's a yeah, so this is just sensationalism at its finest. But there are accounts that are actually following the stock trades of the husband of Nancy Pelosi. I know that they often say it's Nancy Pelosi that's actually buying the stock. It's actually her husband that trades, and he's a very good trader. There are accounts that actually follow their trades. But there is a 45-day delay, meaning they don't need to disclose what they bought until after 45 days. So following it, like copying what they're doing, could be useless because by the time that you buy, they probably are already selling. But always remember that when it comes to the stock market, to money, it's a bigger picture. It's never just one incident. With all of the, I mean, look at this guy, the idol, Tail, the one that was just convicted of rape, former member of NCT. Did it affect SM Entertainment? No, right? Did the investor look at that incident and say, okay, I'm going to pull back, I'm going to pull out my 100 million because that guy that was signed in SM Entertainment, he did something? nobody did that. Nobody talked about that even. This is just sensationalism. So when it comes to money, don't listen. Don't allow your emotions to get the best of you. Look at the technical data and then decide. Okay, I only buy Toyota. All of my cars have been Toyota. I have never had any other car than Toyota. I haven't had an American car since last century. Okay, so do I have to? I have a little time, so I'll go through this, but I won't go through the fun stuff. Um, because we don't have a lot of time. So as you know, this is going to be my major priority now. This channel and of course my small business. So there will be. I'm gonna do three major projects. One of which is the Asian Entertainment and Culture multimedia channel. So we are very close to launching the website. We do have a website. It's just that it's a soft launch, meaning I'm not really publicizing it. I haven't done any kind of PR. I haven't been making any effort to try and get people to go to that channel yet, to that website, just because it's not ready yet. We're changing some things and we're very close to it. So that's the first step. But the goal is to actually create an Asian entertainment and culture and culture, sorry, Asian entertainment and culture multimedia channel. And I mean like something like a streaming platform or a production company, or a funding company or something like that. But I want to be able to create quality content to promote Asian content and Asian artists. So it could be Asian movies, Asian music, Asian artists, Asian culture, Asian fashion, Asian food, or whatever. But the first step is to do this online magazine first. So we'll do the online magazine, and then once that is established, at least we have like a home base to actually show people when we start approaching them for funding or for approaching them for interviews. We have something to show them and that looks a little bit more professional. That will be the first step towards something bigger, but that is the goal, to launch a media company that is dedicated to promoting Asian entertainment and culture and Asian artists, Asian lifestyle, and stuff like that. That's one major project. The other major project is the Legacy of BTS project, which I spoke with you about. Now, one surprising thing about that project is when I posted it, the amount of people that are trying to stop me from doing it. It was very, very surprising. I did not expect that. A lot of people were like, as you know, I've mentioned to you before that I do not watch other creators, right? And that is by design, because a lot of these creators that you mentioned to me, they seem to be very good at what they are doing. I do not want to feel insecure, and I certainly don't want to get influenced by their content. What if they are so good that I feel like, oh my God, I should copy them? I don't ever want to do that. Now, if you're a member of my Patreon community, you know that I don't mind people posting links of their episodes, talking about them. That's all good. I will never ever take for granted the importance of the contribution of independent creators in the success of BTS. Never, never ever. I know how important those are, and I will forever, being a marketer myself. So I will continue to put value in that. So I'll never stop people from talking about other creators or whatever. I did put up a rule that I said that if the channel that you posted or recommended is questionable, then I will probably take that down. So a lot of these people that are sending me message to try and like stop me is because, oh, this person is already doing that, this person is doing it, and you're not as good as her, so probably you shouldn't do it, and whatever, all of those things. Number one, it just drives me when somebody says something like that to me. I'm like, well, don't really care. So if that is what you want to tell me, that I should not do it because someone else is doing it and they're better than me, I respectfully do not care. So you don't have to leave a message. Or if you want to leave that message, it's just going to drive me to do it more. It's just going to want me to do it more. So, but my favorite types of comments are the ones that are offering help. Like a lot of people are saying like, oh, I have some stuff. can I contribute or whatever. So yes, everyone who's willing to help, I will accept your help. So if you have anything that you can contribute, sure. And I've mentioned before that I am going to try and get some funding for this project. So my goal is for everyone that will help to be compensated in one way or another. So I don't like I don't like I don't like it when people are working and they don't get paid. So I will try my very best to get everybody who contributed to actually get paid. So, but of course, I won't be able to do that in the beginning. So for me to get some funding, I need to get it started and show something to those that will fund, right? So I need to show that, okay, this is my progress right now. I just need to be able to finish it. So most likely I won't be able to pay anybody in the beginning, but once I get to that point where I can look for funding, then it'll be better. So those are my favorite comments. I also like those comments. So a lot of people, I never ever dislike criticisms because I think that is healthy. Constructive criticism, that's very healthy. I know several people actually went to me and said, I say that I should like cut down when I should be more succinct in my speech, for example. So I'm trying to do that. So I value comments like that. So the same way that some of you are actually telling me, oh, you should do this and you should do that. Maybe you should look into this. And I value all of that because whether or not you mean well, if I check it out and it will actually benefit me, that's the only thing that matters. So, okay. Yes. So that's for that part. And then the last part is my personal work. I have novels and graphic novels that I want to finish. So all of this I will document, and like every step of the way, I will document, even when I pitch for funding. So you guys can see what actually happens when we pitch for funding. I will document all of that, but it will be exclusive to YouTube memberships, to the members of YouTube and Patreon. So, because I don't want, yeah, for a more controlled environment. So I will document that only for the members of Patreon and members of YouTube. Okay, so those are the three major projects that I am going to be embarking. For now, yes, I'm not closing my doors to a full-time employment. It's just that I will not do it unless it is something that I really want to do and in a company that I have been looking forward to working for. So I've been, there are headhunters, they're offering me this and that. And at the end of the day, my question is that, and I've mentioned this um, to the members of YouTube. And I told them, like, I don't want to find myself 75 and have like 5,800 diseases and not be able to do anything that I love. Just want to do the things that I love. Okay. So Asian Entertainment and Culture Multimedia Channel. These are the things that I'll do. The launch the website. I'll do my press credentials. Will nagwawalis ba si Tita? Yeah, she is. And then, do you hear it? Is it bothering you? Is it bothering you? Wait. Naririnig kayo? Naririnig kayo? Okay. So, yeah, so press credentials, and then I need to get some funding and then cover more events and get more materials, get more interviews. I will hire some people to start writing for the channel, but I primarily in the beginning, it will be user generated content. So I will have some people, I will accept submissions of their articles. So in the beginning, because I don't have funding, I can't pay. So it will be purely voluntary if you want to submit your articles. So that will be in the beginning, but eventually I will be hiring some people. Okay. And then for the BTS Legacy project, I will first have to sit down, go through all my overall outputs and goals, then do content planning, and then the requirements for each content. And 1 second. Mami, sarado nyo na lang yung pinto. Naririnig kasi kayo. My door. Okay, so, and then the requirements for each content, I have to go through that. And then start work. Actually sit down and work and write and do editing and stuff like that. And then I will start then deciding on the contributors. Mom, just close my door. Thank you. And then get start getting funding. So that's the order of business for that. And then for personal, and then the personal project, I need to lose 20 pounds. And then I have to start going back into my graphic novel and the novel. So for those that want to help, someone was asking, Katrina, how can I help? I would like to help you. Where do we send articles? So you can send it to, you can do so in Patreon or in my email, which is info. Should I write it? I will write it. Okay, there. So if you want to help in any way that you want or can, that is is it in your channel signature? Yes, it's in my channel signature. But there, that is one. You can go to, just email me info at Asian EAC. So, as I've said in the beginning, I can't pay because I don't have the funding yet. But once everything is good, like I get the funding, I get whatever, then yeah, then I'll start paying people. So in the beginning, it'll be purely voluntary, but it's a project that I've decided to do, and I'll do it. So so that would be the three major things that I will be embarking on. And then, so it's a lot. And last, I think after Friday, I think I mentioned it in Patreon. And after Friday, um, just being able to wake up on a Saturday and not have to work, because there's when I have a full-time job, I actually work 7 days a week. Like in the morning, the first thing that I do is look up at sales report, performance metrics and all of those things. And waking up Saturday and not have to do that, it's like a little, like I was in a daze, like, oh my God, I don't have to do that. Let's call it internships. Yeah. So, but yeah, like, it's a lot, but as I've said, I don't want to wake up and be 75 and realize that I didn't do anything that I love. I just kept on doing the things that will pay my bills. I've worked a lot in the last, since I was 14 to get to where I am. And I don't have a lot of money. I still don't have a lot of money, by the way. Um, so I still need regular income. It's just that I have this and I have the small business. So that's helping. But yeah, um, wish me luck. I'm on a sabbatical and it's very freeing. It's fantastic. You're driving towards your dream and putting action into your own words. Yeah. I mean, I've put out essentially ever since I got here, I got very little done in terms of my own writing because of because I have to work. So and and it's crazy to think that the reason I actually went here was so that I could write more. I didn't end up doing that. So yeah, is Debak bilingual? No. Whenever I speak with him in using Filipino, he does not respond, and he looks at me funny, like, "What the hell are you talking about?" I speak to him in English, and he's kind of like, she's saying something." Yeah, my dog is like weird. So that's it. So there's so those that are saying like, oh, someone's already doing it and she's doing a way better job than you are, well, congratulations to her or him. But I'm sorry, it's not going to stop me from doing this. I've already set my mind to it. I want to do it. I believe I have something to offer, so I'll just continue doing it. So But yeah, let's start with Asian with emailing me. I'll probably create a WhatsApp channel so that people that are contributing will have like a channel. Um, and I also do like a Patreon channel. Uh, so I have one vacant Patreon space. So I'll do a chat dedicated to the BTS legacy so that people that want to contribute can contribute. So I've heard of no one who's putting in the work like you are for the BTS book project, not the same perspective either. That's what I want to believe. That's why I'm continuing. So I believe that other creators are doing great work, but it's not the same as what I am doing. But who am I to say, right? Because I don't watch their channels. I don't know. But yeah, I as I've mentioned, I am fully supportive of these people. Everyone, all of those creators that you're mentioning, I will never ever take for granted the importance of independent creators in the success of BTS. They're very important. With no marketing budget, BTS essentially relied on independent creators in doing the push. So if I ignore them, if I belittle them, it's like belittling what actually launched them to stardom, right? So I will never take that for granted. And that's why I've been very open and I will continue to be open. That's why I always say if you want to talk about their content in my channel, go ahead. I don't care. That helps BTS. Just as long as everyone is respectful, everyone recognizing the importance of everybody, I'm cool. You can talk about them. I don't mind. Wishing you the best of good luck. Thank you for talking about your passion and life plans. To know you have my continued support. Wishing you all the best. Thank you. Okay, so it's already 2 hours and 11. So as I've said, I most likely will not go live on Wednesday. Not this way. We'll probably go live when we are in the booth already in the suite, just to say hi to everybody. I might go live in the morning when I'm doing something, but it won't be like a conventional live because Jin is the priority. So, and then I will let you know what happens to my boots if I can actually walk on them. So, all right. That's it. Thank you, everybody. I'll see you sometime this week, I guess. Bye. Are you starting to the live an hour earlier? Yes. I will actually be aiming to start. I've mentioned earlier that I will try to do a live in the morning as well and see if that's going to be better for some people. Maybe one day will be morning, another day evening. Okay. Miss Fairlane, just a suggestion, try not to give specifics on your projects on YouTube. You never know, evil ears are everywhere. Thank you. Have fun at the concert. Good night, everybody. Good night. Bye.